I thought I was about to give my husband the happiest surprise of his life. Hidden inside my purse were 2 first-class tickets to Paris, a handwritten love letter, and the engagement watch he had admired for months. After 12 years of marriage, I wanted to remind him that no promotion or paycheck could ever mean more than us. But the moment the elevator doors opened, I heard hundreds of people cheering. Then I saw my husband on one knee, smiling at another woman. Not just any woman, his billionaire CEO. 30 minutes later, I made one quiet decision, and his entire world began collapsing. My name is Olivia Bennett. I'm 38 years old, and until last Valentine's Day, I believed I had the kind of marriage people quietly envied. Ryan and I had been together for 12 years. We weren't flashy. We didn't flood social media with perfect photos or make dramatic declarations of love. We simply built a life, one mortgage payment, one late-night conversation, one shared dream at a time. When Ryan wanted to leave his stable job to join a fast-growing technology company, everyone warned him against it. I was the only one who told him, "If you believe in yourself, I'll believe in you too." For years, I carried more of the household expenses while he worked long hours chasing promotions. I never complained. Watching him succeed felt like watching our future grow. That's why I wanted this Valentine's Day to be unforgettable. 3 months earlier, I'd secretly booked 2 first-class tickets to Paris, the city we'd promised to visit after paying off our house. I reserved a suite overlooking the Seine, bought reservations at his favorite Michelin star restaurant, and even found the vintage fountain pen he had admired months before. That morning, I picked up a bouquet of white lilies and deep red roses, along with a handwritten letter thanking him for every sacrifice we'd made together. I couldn't stop smiling during the drive. I imagined his surprised face. Maybe he'd even cry. Around noon, I walked into the sleek glass headquarters of Sterling Dynamics. The receptionist smiled politely. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," I laughed. "I'm just here to surprise my husband." She pointed toward the main atrium. "You picked quite a day." Before I could ask what she meant, loud applause echoed through the building. Employees streamed toward the center lobby, many holding up their phones to record whatever was happening. Curious, I followed. Then I saw him, Ryan, wearing the navy suit I'd helped him pick out. He was standing beneath a massive display of red roses and gold balloons. Across from him stood Charlotte Hayes, the company's elegant CEO. Before I could process what I was seeing, Ryan slowly dropped onto one knee. The crowd gasped. Someone whispered, "Finally." He opened a small velvet box. A diamond ring sparkled beneath the lobby lights. Victoria covered her mouth, nodded through happy tears, and Ryan gently slipped the ring onto her finger. The entire lobby exploded with cheers. Then she leaned down and kissed him. My bouquet slipped from my hands. Flowers scattered across the polished marble floor. At that exact moment, Ryan looked up. Our eyes met across the cheering crowd. Every ounce of color disappeared from his face. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't ask a single question. I simply turned around, walked out of the building, and sat silently inside my car. 30 seconds later, my phone vibrated. It wasn't a message from Ryan. It was an urgent notification from our bank, and one sentence on the screen made me realize this nightmare was only beginning. My hands were still trembling as I unlocked my phone. "Large transfer request detected. Approval required." I stared at the notification confused. Ryan rarely moved money without telling me first. I opened our banking app and saw a pending request to transfer nearly $600,000 from our joint investment account into a newly created business account. The request hadn't gone through. It required both account holders to approve it. For the first time that afternoon, I smiled. He hadn't expected me to walk into that lobby. He also hadn't expected me to check our finances before he could move the money. Without hesitation, I rejected the transfer. Then I called my attorney, Michael Brooks. "I need you to clear your afternoon." He heard something in my voice. "I'm on my way." An hour later, we sat inside his office while I explained everything from the proposal to the bank notification. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he opened several digital files I'd almost forgotten existed. "Emma," he said quietly, "do you remember how Sterling Investment Holdings was originally funded?" I nodded. My grandmother's inheritance. 12 years earlier, I'd inherited nearly $4 million after my grandmother passed away. Instead of buying luxury cars or vacation homes, I invested almost all of it into the small logistics startup Ryan dreamed of building with several partners. When outside investors later purchased the startup, those shares were converted into ownership within the holding company that eventually became Hartwell Dynamics. Because the inheritance legally belonged to me before marriage, every original share certificate had remained in my name. Michael Brooks looked directly at me. "You currently control 83% of the holding company." I blinked. "What?" "Ryan manages the business. You legally own it." Suddenly, dozens of conversations from previous years made sense. Whenever paperwork arrived, Ryan always smiled and said, "It's just another tax document. Sign here." I trusted him. I never questioned it. Apparently, neither had he. Michael Brooks quickly contacted my financial advisor. Within 2 hours, every ownership record had been verified. Nothing had been transferred, nothing had been changed. Everything was still legally mine. Following Michael Brooks's advice, I froze every joint account, secured my personal investments, changed access to every shared financial portal, and instructed the bank to notify me before any large transaction. Meanwhile, my phone refused to stop ringing. 20 missed calls, then 40, then 83. Voicemails, apologies, questions, excuses. I listened to none of them. Late that evening, Michael Brooks called again. "I've learned something else," he said. "The CEO, Charlotte Hayes, appears to believe Ryan has already been divorced for months." I closed my eyes. "So, she doesn't know?" "Based on everything we've confirmed, she may have been lied to as well." Before I could respond, another email appeared on my screen. "Emergency shareholder meeting, 9 a.m., attendance required." Neither Ryan nor Victoria had any idea I would be walking through those boardroom doors the next morning. The next morning, I walked into Hartwell Dynamics carrying nothing except a leather folder and the calm I'd spent all night forcing myself to find. The receptionist recognized me immediately. "Mrs. Carter, the shareholder meeting is on the top floor." I simply nodded. When the boardroom doors opened, nearly 20 executives looked up. Ryan froze. Victoria looked equally confused for a brief second. Neither of them spoke. Then Ryan stood. "Emma, this isn't the place." I ignored him and quietly took the empty seat beside the company's legal counsel. The chairman cleared his throat. "Now that everyone is present, we'll begin." Ryan forced a smile. "I'll explain everything after." "You'll have your opportunity," the chairman interrupted. "But first, our legal department has an announcement." The company attorney stood and opened a thick folder. "Following verification of the original incorporation documents and shareholder registry, ownership of Hartwell Investment Holdings has been confirmed." He looked directly toward me. "Mrs. Olivia Bennett remains the controlling shareholder with an 83% ownership interest." Silence. Absolute silence. Several executives exchanged stunned looks. Victoria slowly turned toward Ryan. "You told me," she whispered. His face drained of color. The attorney continued. "Furthermore, substantial evidence suggests unauthorized attempts to transfer jointly owned assets and executive decisions that may present serious conflicts of interest. An independent review has therefore been authorized." The chairman folded his hands. "Effective immediately, Ryan Carter is relieved of all executive authority pending the outcome of the investigation." Ryan pushed back his chair. "You can't do this." The chairman's expression never changed. "We already have." Then he looked toward Victoria. "Our investigation also indicates you were provided inaccurate information regarding Mr. Carter's marital status." Victoria stared at Ryan as if she had never seen him before. "You said your divorce had been finalized." Ryan opened his mouth. Nothing came out. The engagement ring that had looked so impressive the day before suddenly seemed painfully out of place. No one applauded this time. Within minutes, security escorted Ryan from the executive floor. The celebration that had filled the building less than 24 hours earlier had become an investigation no one wanted to discuss. Outside the headquarters, I finally stopped walking when I heard footsteps behind me. "Emma, please." I turned. For the first time in 12 years, he looked genuinely afraid. I made a terrible mistake. I reached into my bag and placed 2 unopened envelopes in his hands. "The Paris tickets. They were supposed to be your Valentine surprise," I said quietly. His eyes filled with tears. "I'll end everything." "We can fix this." I gently shook my head. "No, Ryan. You didn't lose me when I walked out of that lobby. You lost me the moment you decided another future was worth more than the life we had already built." I turned and walked away without looking back. Some endings arrive with shouting, others arrive with silence. Mine arrived with peace. And as I stepped into the next chapter of my life, I realized something unexpected. The greatest act of love isn't holding on to someone who betrays you. It's finally choosing yourself.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. I truly appreciate your comments, feedback, and thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you again in the next stories.